last year, Pavel ended his run unceremoniously, making one of the biggest mistakes I think we've ever seen in competitive Hearthstone to date, which is the Sylvanas Dr. Boom Molten Giant plays, and as a result lost to Life Coach, which could have been him going to BlizzCon. Can he do it this year by first taking out Hoej, who's also been on the come-up for such a long time? Hoej, in my opinion, was 2015's Rookie of the Year performance. He did so well breaking out into tournaments like the Via Game House Cup and DreamHacks, where he was going undefeated in Swiss. He did such a good year in 2015 that his run was also a little bit unfortunate, running into his teammate twice to be eliminated.
Losing to the eventual world champion.
Yeah, losing to the
twice.
world champion twice. So both these guys have a lot on their plate to try to redeem themselves in 2016, but unfortunately one has to go here. Let's go into game number 4, Warrior versus Rogue. Now, Hoej had an opportunity to equip the Fire War Axe, chose not to. Is it that important to hero power, or is it important to conceal your information on the Fire War Axe? Why don't you break down this play, too?
Well, you know that your opponent is not going to play anything that's going to be killed by a Fire War Axe on turn 2, unless they coin out an SI agent, which that really isn't going to be that big of a deal. So, you know, gaining the extra armor is a pretty big deal in this matchup, because a lot of times it does come down to your armor count if you can manage to deal with the early threats. But I do think that a lot of players think that this matchup is very close. I've always been under the impression that I feel like Rogue, if piloted well, can do good things against most Control Warrior lists. So especially ones that are relatively minion heavy, because there's a lot of threats in Rogue that are must kill, and even if you do kill them, you still might be in a rough position because you have to use so many resources to do so. And cards like Tomb Pillager also just give them a coin.
Yeah, and that's not to be understated. The coin is extremely potent in a class like Rogue, which combos off of any card that's being played. Another possibility too, don't forget about, by the way, X factors like Swashbuckler, which always could end up deciding a lot of the tempo swings. You know, Bash doesn't look that impressive, but who knows if that ends up being a key that helps the Malygos deal 8 damage to face instead. But one thing to consider too is that Pavel's playing the Malygos Miracle version, which a lot of people have been starting to experiment with post-patch. However, Malygos Miracle Rogue has a limited amount of damage, and that is what's really scary, because Warrior is one of the classes that can out-heal effectively by having too much armor. You can't really bust through all of it with your Sinister Strikes and Eviscerates that gain a lot of damage. Compared to the Questing Adventurer, which you can get multiple turns of hitting for 6 damage, then 12 damage, then maybe even more if you keep concealing.
Yeah, you still have repetitive damage from your powerful minions, but you have much less of a chance to sort of all in your opponent early on, and so to speak, cheese early wins out of your opponent, which can be a good way to deal with Control Warrior. But then again, if you can manage to draw through much of your deck relatively early on in the game, or force your opponent to take a lot of damage with weapons like Hoej has done, Malygos can even be better than its Questing Adventurer partner in crime.
Questing Adventures partner in crime. No, that'd be a great comedy series. Although, isn't the whole point of Questing Adventures like every one of us? We're all supposed to be the Questing Adventures in a way.
Yeah. I thought we were all supposed to be the Swashburglars.
I wish. I wish it was Pirate Day every day. The fact that he has Harrison Jones is also interesting. I always feel like timing this Harrison Jones is really important, because you know that your opponent has a lot of threatening ways to build up their weapon, but not so in Malygos Rogue. Malygos Rogue actually doesn't have deadly poisons. So it's interesting that Pavel has chosen to replace the Swashbuckler with those deadly poisons as one of those exchanges. And if so, when does Hoej even play Harrison Jones? Because it is a weapon class and it is a card draw, but he's not playing it. He's actually been holding on to it while playing Justicar to make sure you get that Tenka.
It's a very streamlined list from Pavel. There's very little one-ofs. You know, it runs like double Shiv, double Eviscerate, double Swashbuckler, double Sinister Strike.
It's got the Barns so that you can get that Malygos or Gadgetzan out, or the Tomb Pillager.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm always afraid getting Barns on the Swashbuckler. That's always one of the most awkward times.
Yeah, but there's very little misses, I feel like, in this deck. especially since you do run Thorsan, you do run Malagos. There's I feel like a little bit less misses than if you run a version of like regular Miracle Rogue that also has Swashbucklers, like any Swashbuckler version. A lot of Rogue players actually are moving towards Swashbuckler as being sort of a staple in their decks. So now that's a Baron Geddon.
Yep. And Baron Geddon forces Pavel to respond to it. It does a lot of damage. There is a world where the Control Warrior player threatens the Rogue player, but it's not really necessarily that common. Pavel's going to start off by drawing some coins with the Gadget Sand. Saving coins also is valuable because of the way it interacts with Malagos spells. Malagos' damage can sometimes be best if used with Eviscerate and even preparations. Like, every coin you keep is just more damage for the late game.
You ever have that dream, Frodan?
I do tend to dream a lot, so hit me, TJ. What's with your dream?
Talk about the dream.
Oh, the dream.
The one
what is the dream in this matchup?
Where you're Baron Geddon, and the world is 2 health minions.
Sounds like a great motivational poster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The world is your 2 health minion.
Yeah. And
You are the Baron Geddon.
I wish, man.
Kill
I
it.
wish. Unfortunately, I'm often the slime.
Oh, no.
And life is the Baron Geddon.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. But not to depress people too much with my own woes. Van Cleave comes in here as a counter to that Baron Geddon. Oh, to that Grommash, excuse me. Baron Geddon, of course, not going to be that useful here. Hoej picks up ways that he can remove pretty efficiently. He has the Radical Execute. What's his follow-up if he chooses to do so? Not very strong. And I think one thing in the back of Hoej's mind, too, is that he also wants to start tanking up a lot. So if he wants to start tanking up, he's already working with only 7 mana this turn.
Also, if he uses Execute, what happens if Pavel just slams Malagos next turn? You know, does he have a way to deal with it? He hasn't been through that much of his deck. Pavel's already seen, a little bit of removal. Would he feel confident in doing that?
Yeah.
I don't know if he really have a choice, and I don't know if he can even put Pavel on having the guts to slam a Malagos on a board like this. So he's going to go ahead and go for it.
Yeah. I mean, is it the first Execute being used? If so, then you still have much to worry about because Hoej can execute the second one. All of a sudden, your win condition is gone. I expect Pavel to probably go for a second Gadget Sand here. Now that he picked up Preparation, he can draw a lot of cards and make sure he has enough so that way he can combo with his Malagos.
Prep Bash!
Prep Bash. Oh, he's got backstab.
Yeah, you might
Even better.
Maybe Prep Bash is going to be saved for the Malagos. Oh, there's Sinister Strike. Now you got to think.
All he needs to just get the Emperor Thorsan, and he's going to have Bash 2 Sinister Strikes for free with the Malagos. Oh, he's got the Emperor.
That is so much damage.
Does he want to save the Shiv? Because the Shiv also combos with Malagos as well, and you can use Bash a little bit more liberally.
Yeah, so if he reduces this, Malagos will be at 8, the Sinister Strikes will be free. He could fit in Bash with more damage, so he could Malagos, double Sinister Strike, and Bash for 10 mana.
So that's 24 damage.
Yeah.
And if his opponent doesn't tank up, he puts him at 24 this turn.
Yeah, so he's going to go ahead and Blood Mage Shiv and
the damage in.
Yeah, probably not attack just because if he's going. Oh no, I think he's most likely going to dagger up next turn, so he's going to attack. Should attack.
Yes. I think next turn. Oh man, Eviscerate. It's even more damage. It's 25 now. He's able to stretch it out. Not to mention that Gadget Sand might also damage too. Say if his opponent attacks with the Fiery War Axe.
Yeah.
Tank up another removal piece, but Hoej is really starting now to count like what he can start doing here, especially by armor counts. If his opponent plays Malagos, can he respond to it? One of the things that's also inconvenient is that Pavel has used his dagger charge and now has not been able to play Harrison Jones for the value. He can play it for the tempo.
Yeah. Hoej's counting. He's like, oh god.
Yeah. What's the amount of damage my opponent can do maximum to me?
He's like 100, 103. 106.
Carry
wait,
the
wait,
one.
Start over.
I can't tell you how many times I've been in that position where I'm trying to count my opponent's damage and I just miscount halfway through and have to start over from the beginning. And the rope's burning.
And then you just forget it all.
Yeah. The microwave's dinging because my hot rolls are done. My pizza rolls are done. The cat's meowing. there's people knocking on my door for some reason. There's a lot of stress that comes in it, man.
The Mountain Dew delivery driver's there.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on, but Hoej choosing to clear, use his own charge, and now with the Swashbuckler potentially picking up more removal. Well, not really doing much there. Emperor Thor's going to try to discount as much as he can. Keep in mind that he doesn't have to use all of his burst and kill his opponent. He also can stretch it out by playing Azure Drake and preemptively loading the board, and then being able to also Malygos the following turn too. All he has to do is get his opponent down to that magical number, which is 25.
Yeah, he can use Azure Drake and then use some of the burn that he wouldn't be able to fit in with the Malygos. So that means he should be in a pretty good position. But that's a lot of armor gain.
Yeah, it's
for Hoej.
It's a lot to get through. Although it's not exactly the things like Baron Geddon is removal, so if you bash Baron Geddon, but you also do 2 damage to yourself, so you're really gaining 1. And then you're at 28, if I count correctly. So 28. Can you die off of that? If your opponent has a preparation, you can die because your opponent discounted Malygos, discounted all those cheap spells and the prep. Which, by the way, if Pavel has prep, then the magical number becomes 33. So Hoej's in some tough spots, man. I don't envy his position because just the Malygos is so threatening, which is really cool. I love Malygos decks. And if Pavel draws the preparation, that is it. Right?
Is it?
I mean, he's got 24 from the 3/3 damage.
So 33
prep
total.
Eviscerate.
Yeah, he
so
does.
I think he has 33, and that should wrap it up.
That is a lot of damage, and Hoej can't really account for spells that are gained from Swashbuckler. The only ones that would kill him would be
if he bashed,
Mortal Strike.
I think he would have survived if he bashed, which is crazy because he can't account for the Swashbuckler.
He would have been 1 damage off lethal if he had bashed that turn instead of floating